Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us again. I feel like we were just here and we just saw you guys, but in fact, it's been a whole week, which in Google time is like forever and ever. So we're really glad to be back again. And I'm super excited to introduce a new colleague that you guys have not met on these webinars before, but I bet a lot of you guys know her. Her name is Melissa Gomez Summerford, and she is Summerford Stars on Twitter. And I'm not even going to let her introduce herself this time. She's going to have a whole section of this presentation to talk about, and you guys are going to love her. So Melissa, look, you don't even have to talk yet. There you go. It's good with you?
That's good with me. I'll just wave.
Okay.
You made her too scared. She was just like,
I was like, get away. No.
And this is my colleague, Brooke. Brooke, you get to introduce yourself.
hey guys, I'm Brooke, and I'm so excited to be back with everyone today as well. And I am really excited to talk about some of our Meet features.
Yeah, me too. We use Meet all day long, every day to meet with everybody. So we're excited to tell you guys about these features that we've been noticing roll into our domain. And then one we couldn't find yesterday that we're going to tell you how to get a hold of so you don't have the experience we did, like, where is it? We want it right now. My name's Amy Mayer. And again, we are thrilled to be back with you guys. Let's go ahead and get rolling because you guys know how fast these go. And we want to give you a couple of minutes to ask questions if we can possibly get done in time. So let's start this. You guys let Devin know in the chat if you have any important questions, and she'll pass those over to us just as soon as we can take kind of a breath and get back with you. All right, Brooke, I think you're starting us off today with talking about host controls. Am I right?
You are correct.
All right. Well, let me know when to click. We'll start right here.
All right, guys. So some of you have already have seen host controls and have been using them. It was in the last release, but there are going to be some updates that are coming. So for a reminder, host controls is exactly what it sounds like, right? So I'm the host of a man. I can't even say the word host. I'm saying host. Host. Let's try that again. If you are a host of a meeting, you have all the rights to give quick access. So anyone who is invited to your meeting can jump in and jump on board. And then if you want your participants to be able to share their screen or to send chat messages, you're able to turn those on really quick and really easily. You want to go to the next one for me? So that is the biggest thing for teachers, right? Is that we want to know with our students, like, I don't want them to be able just to take over my screen and share what they want to share, or I don't want them to be able to chat right now. Right now, we need to be listening and learning, and then I want to open up Q&A and the chat in a minute when I'm ready. So it kind of just gives some of that control back so that the learning time is relevant to the students. So it's not that we're just trying to be in control and this is what we do and this is how we do it. No, we want to be able to give them a chance to really focus on the learning during the learning time and then give them the chance to collaborate and share at the other times.
So Brooke, after the pandemic started and we started using Google Meet all day long every day, I feel like we just had a whole different view on why these features mattered to us. And we started like taking notes, like, Google, please listen, this is what we need it to do and this is why. And I feel so seen right now when I look at the very next slide in our deck of why it matters. Do you feel kind of have that same feeling?
Yeah, absolutely. And you're right. We do have a whole different view on it. And just to mention also, this is part of the fundamentals. So this is going to be free for everyone. Everyone's going to see the quick access. So no one has to worry about what their plan is, right? This is for everyone. So, why is it really mattering to you? Just like what Amy was saying, if you have invited the students or your participants into the meeting, you're not going to get those little pop-up windows that says allow, admit, 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 admit. And because I know me, y'all heard me just a second ago, I was having a hard enough time just saying one word without the little pop-up button. So if I'm trying to have a conversation or actually teach and I'm having to read that and click and admit, admit, I promise you, we're not going to get very far. So it's nice that I'm not going to have that little pop-up window on there. I'm going to be able to start my class meeting without the students, without fear of being continuously interrupted. Being able to turn that chat on and off, it's just going to feel like I have more control of the situation, just like I do when I'm face-to-face with my students.
Yep. Love this. Love these updates. So excited about to see all of them. I don't think we've seen all of them yet, but they're coming our way soon. And
Very
so,
much so.
Brooke, when people are looking for these, so here I am, I'm thinking, man, I cannot wait to get these features. Where am I going to find these things? How do I know if I'm supposed to even be seeing them and all that stuff?
Yeah, so the best part is it's easy, really easy. If you guys see this symbol in the bottom left-hand corner of your Meet, as soon as you open it, you're going to see this little shield with the lock. That's just a quick way to get in and look at your host controls. But then also when you click on all of your little windows in the upper right-hand area of a Meet, you're going to get into them there as well. It's going to be very easy to find. You're going to see that little menu and just read through everything that it says. And it logically is going to make sense. There's no tricks there. If it's on, it's on. If it's off, it's off. Toggle on, toggle off.
The only time I've ever really been confused, Brooke, is when like you and I were in a meeting together and I go and look for them and I don't see them. And then I'm like, where's all the stuff? And you have them and I don't have them. How can that happen?
Well, that's because I'm the host. I own that calendar meeting and you don't. So I'm the one with all the control in that situation. I can just toggle you right off. I can just be like, no, Amy. You can't do this. But yeah,
I see from being muted in my future. I think that's going to be happening to me.
So it's really nice because just like that, we don't want the students to have all the same exact controls that the teacher does because we want them to be able to just be the only ones that can turn that access on and off because we all know that students would be like, what is this? And turn things on and off and things would be getting a little crazy. Melissa is going to talk later about co-teachers and co-moderators. We know that's going to come up. So she's going to give you some information on that later in this little webinar.
All right. I think this next feature is maybe the most important one we're going to talk about today. I wish so much I would have had it when I was in the face-to-face classroom, but it can't exist in real life. It can only exist online. So here you go.
Yeah. So here it is, the big one, free for everyone, right? Mute all with audio lock capability. So not only is there going to be a mute all, meaning silence right now without all the annoying sayings, without all the hushing and the shushing and I won't say it, but Amy doesn't like it. Well, I will say it when people says people. Isn't that what it is, Amy? You don't like people?
People. I don't like it.
So now you don't have to do that. You'll be able to mute all, but what's coming with that is that you're going to be able to lock that mute all so that students cannot individually unmute themselves until you are ready. You're going to be able to turn that on and off, that feature for them to be able, because sometimes I may just be muting them for a minute, but I really do want them to have the option. So I may not lock it, but just like quickly, oh, we don't know who's having that feedback. We don't know what that sound is. Let's figure that out. Let's just mute everyone. Or sometimes it's like, nope, I'm muting you and I'm locking it down for just a few seconds. And then we'll come back and look at that a little later.
I love face-to-face teacher in the class.
Mute all.
Okay. I met a new friend this week. Her name's Laura. She's in Illinois. I hope she's watching today. And she told me a story that made me think, ooh, I bet you wish you would have had this next feature we're going to talk about today. She got stuck in Florida during snowpocalypse 2021 with only her cell phone. And she had to work for 3 days with nothing but her cell phone. So if she ends up having to teach with her cell phone, is she going to be able to do any of the stuff that we're talking about?
So she is. This next slide right here, it's going to show you that you now have mobile, launching in April, there are going to be mobile host controls on iOS and Android. So it's coming to both platforms. You're going to be able to use those host controls. And I can tell you just from our little snow situation in Texas 2 weeks ago that I had to join several meets from my phone as well. And it really was a whole new experience for me. I'm so used to just signing on my computer, making it happen. But even before the new updates were there, I found it pretty easy to navigate, even using my Android device, my cell phone. And it was great.
Awesome.
Yeah,
I mean,
That is a great.
know what those look like.
Yeah. We do have a couple of questions that I want to address. One of them is that in the past, some people have seen that the first staff member to join a Meet link generated in Google Classroom will have the host controls. Has that changed? As far as everything I've read and I've heard is that it is going to be the owner of the meeting has the host controls. So that should be helping with that as well. And
That's
then
the teacher,
is
right? In the Google Classroom, that's the teacher.
correct. And is there an unmute all button? I have not seen an unmute all button. However, the students will be able to unmute, and you can also just have, you could go through and click the unmute for the students if you needed to.
You know what else is really good is that sometimes people chew on webinars, and that cannot happen. That is not a thing. You should never chew or drink anything on a webinar. I mute myself always before I
Me
chew or
too.
drink. And now I can just mute you, and I'll just pretend like I don't know how that happened if you ask me. That's what we'll be covering next. All right, are we ready to move on to section
We
2?
are.
Okay, well, it's the one that I fought, like I chose my hill to die on, and this is it. I had to be the one to talk about these features because I just love them, and you'll see I even took funny pictures for you. I hope you like them. So let's look at the next section of features today. First of all, you guys know we love emojis if you've been learning with us for long, and I know Melissa does. So Melissa, what'd you think?
Oh my goodness. When I saw it, I was so excited because emojis can express so much more than words. And so when I saw this in there, I was like, oh my goodness. And then the fact that you can even change the skin tones as well and decide on what color you want your emoji to be. I think it's a fantastic upgrade that Google has added to Google Meet.
Yeah, me too. I love the personalization of it. I just think that I'm probably going to stick with the yellow because I think it probably matches me most closely, like The Simpsons. But yeah, I love all of these different features. It's so cool. I just can't wait to start using those with everybody and express myself with emojis because my voice is not expressive enough. So,
Like Brooke says, I speak emoji. So I love
You
this
do
feature.
speak emoji. She really does. Sometimes it's like my first form of communication with Melissa.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right, exactly. All right, so we've talked about this feature before, but don't forget it's there. It is very useful. I've seen it used even in meetings that are all adults now. Like it just lets somebody know when they're talking, you have something you want to add to that or whatever, and it makes it easy to pass the meeting over to the next person. So raise hand, it's right there. You may have to hover your mouse down to the bottom of your Google Meet to see that, and that's where you'll find it. All right. Shout out to my favorite artist, Leon Collins. You can see one of his works there in the back. Go find him on Facebook, Leon Collins. He's fantastic. We have art everywhere around the office. I didn't even realize I captured that in there. All right. How does the hand raise, though, look to the teacher? Well, this is what the teacher is going to see on their side. Jessica Powell has raised a hand, and I see that as the teacher, and I know she has something to contribute, and I'm able to call on her. If I have her muted and it's not locked, she can unmute herself and she can answer the question. This is where you'll find that button. This has not moved. Now, a lot of stuff in Meet has moved and changed over a very rapid period of time because the upgrades are happening so fast. This has not. We examined it really carefully yesterday, compared our previous screenshots. This feature has not changed. It will look the same to you. But if you haven't been using it, just a reminder, take a look at it again and use the raise hand feature, teach your students about it, and make it a part of the protocol in your classroom. I think they'll really like it. All right, let's take a look at the background. I have carefully curated a set of typewriters in my background. Everybody who meets with me sees the typewriters, and we get to talk about the fact that there are indeed cursive typewriters, like this one right here behind me. So that's a fun thing, but sometimes you don't have typewriters behind you in your background. You have your house that you don't have time to clean up today, or your kids who are learning from home, or your kitchen where maybe you didn't have a chance to do the dishes last night, and you don't want all of that in your background. So let's take a look at what all you can do and are going to be able to do. I have one thing I think may surprise you. I didn't actually know it was possible until last week. So you probably have seen this one. There's blur or slightly blur in the picture there. That's the slight blur. So you can still see the typewriters. You can still tell what's back there. You can kind of make out a Barbie or two, but it still is like maybe less distracting. Like if I think my background might be distracting someone, I could use that. You can also replace your background, and there's all these awesome pictures you can pick. I finally found my picture that I needed, which was pink cassette tapes, because I just felt like, again, seen by someone at Google, like I felt like they knew me. They put those there for me. There they are. So I'll probably be using those in the future. But this is the feature that I read about, and then I was like, okay, but where is it? Because I need this one in my life. And it is upload a custom background. And as I looked and looked for it, I finally logged into my @gmail.com account, and there it was. And I felt really left out, because we have this awesome domain and it wasn't there. And then, obviously, eventually I did a Google search and I found out that your administrator of your domain has got to actually turn this on for you. So if your administrator hasn't turned it on, you won't see it. This is what the setting looks like on the admin side. And you can see it's a very easy thing to turn on. So if you think you need this in your life, talk to your system administrator, technical person, and they can turn this on. But I also wanted to show you some great ideas for what you can do with this. So one great idea, this is the front door of our office building. I love this picture. And I feel like when people come here, they're like, wait a minute, I've seen that before. So that would be kind of cool. This is the back porch of our office, which I'm looking at right outside my window. I thought, yeah, I could kind of show people around Fried Technology and they could get a feeling for what it's going to be like when they can come here in person. And then finally, I wanted to share with you, this is the newest employee, newest add to our team. This is Daryl Legaspi, and I'm going to add his Twitter handle there so you guys can find him. He's joining our team this month, because it's March now.
Yeah, it is March.
Yeah, it's exciting. So I wanted to tell you that Daryl, of course, he totally nailed his interview. I just wanted you guys to see, do you see how he took the colors of our Fried Online logo and he made them his custom background for his interview? I mean, he started off on the right foot from the very beginning. We were
I feel like we need to back up at least 35 seconds and just, again, applaud your ability to take such amazing screenshots of yourself on all those slides. It's really fantastic.
I appreciate that. It's a talent I've cultivated over many years. And look, Daryl seems to possess it as well.
He does. He does.
Yes. All right. I see Hannah's question over here. Can you choose the background by OU? And I don't actually know, Hannah. I will go and look at that, and I'll go back to the YouTube of this video and I will put the answer in there, but I do not remember. I think the answer is yes. And if Devin knows, she may tell us in the chat also. All right, so I think that we're almost at the end of our section, but I want to make sure you know how to find it. So all these features are going to be in that little, we call them hot dogs, little 3 dots at the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. They're going to be really easy to find. The upload background button is going to be there too. All you have to do is just click it, upload your image, and it pops right in there for you. It's pretty cool, pretty easy. I mean, we joke about this and it is a really fun feature, but also think about this can be a really serious too. We all taught students from poverty, and some of my kids lived in some situations that, I mean, I can't imagine what their home lives were like, but it was tough. And I do feel for so many kids being at home during the pandemic and not being able to come to school, because it's a safe place for so many kids. So maybe hopefully your kids have got access at home, but there may be stuff going on in the background that they don't want everybody to see. It might not be an environment that they're proud of. So hopefully this will allow students to have themselves be seen on camera without feeling uncomfortable about what everybody else can see in the background. So this is a real serious feature too. And it's true for adults as well, but I really think about kids and kind of feel for them. Is that what y'all thought too when you saw this feature come out?
Yeah, and also that, Amy, there's been some chatter also in the comments about muting and unmuting students as well. And that is, you want students to be able to have their mic muted for that same privacy when they're at home in that same area. You may not know what's going on in the background. And
yeah, exactly.
They want to maybe have that safe zone for themselves as well.
It's hard to remember sometimes that everybody doesn't come from a quiet, safe, orderly home like, our personal children do.
Yeah, exactly. We did have a question, and I'm just going back about emojis, turning them on and off. And I did a little digging, and the one thing that I know that I can say is that it says teachers and admins will have full control over when reactions can be used. So I don't know exactly what that's going to look like, what the definition of that being the admin and teacher control is going to be for the reactions, but it does look like there is going to be some sort of host or admin control on the emoji reactions.
You know what, if that comes out while we're still doing this webinar series, we'll make sure to go into that in a future webinar, because I have a lot of questions about that too, and what it will look like. So we'll delve into that. Just don't expect it to be a seamless transition from whatever we're supposed to be talking about, because it might not be, but we'll go there because we know it matters to everybody. All right. Melissa, you're going to tell us about another set of features. So get us started.
Yes.
What are these all about?
Okay, so let's talk about getting in and getting out, knocking and meeting in classroom, and how to end a meeting. I think these are so important features because you don't want people just to join your meeting. So let's go ahead and talk about those settings that are going to be added. So knocking, what is it? I do like this. Like if people are denied, you might have some people that you
Mhm.
do not want to get in your meeting. So if you deny them and they're like, wait a minute, she's denying me, I'm just going to knock again. So the second time you can deny them again. And then by the third time, they're going to get a message that says they can't join.
The
So
knocker, it does make one feel kind of sad, though, when you can't get in.
I see I know. Look, don't ever do that to Amy. Don't ever
Again,
like
the,
her.
the
Let me in.
screenshot faces.
Right.
Let me in, okay? This can be annoying too, though, right, Melissa? Because I know you did a training with a school district out in El Paso, I think it was, and we had a ton of people trying to get into the meeting. So, what would you say about knocking in a small meeting, maybe, versus a big meeting where you're trying to do a big training? Would you want to use this feature?
It's kind of hard. It's good to allow people to get in, but then you get stuck on admitting everybody in. So that does take away from maybe if you're, concentrating on the teaching, you do kind of get distracted by that. So I
Yeah.
like that. And I do like if you accidentally deny someone because maybe, you hit the wrong button that you can
or whatever.
manually. Yeah, you can manually add them and re-invite them. So they're not completely locked out if you made a mistake. And I do like that.
That's good, because I would feel bad if you locked me out.
Yeah. So, like, what does this really matter? I mean, just think of, when we first started teaching online, people coming in and they weren't invited, but they were somehow getting the link. This is going to eliminate that. So they're not going to come in and disrupt your class. And especially, it's like a stranger coming in, even though we're virtual, there's still strangers coming in. So I like this feature that they're not going to be able to come in on unauthorized students. Just think of kids playing jokes and
Right.
I'm going to invite you to my classroom, even if it's
Things
silly.
high school students do sometimes.
And
Oh,
it's funny at the time to them because they can go back and say, and it's a great memory, but to teachers,
I don't know, y'all.
it's really.
I love a high school kid's sense of humor. I probably didn't punish people as much as I should have, because I thought, that's clever. How did you think of that? But I was a high school teacher. What can I say?
Mhm.
So how am I going to use it, Melissa? There's Amy and she wants in my meeting again, and she just was not a good citizen last time she was there, and she's in the virtual hallway right now.
Mhm. Well, I might let her sit out there just for a minute.
For 4 minutes.
But I'm gonna get this menu come up. It's gonna either ask me, do I want to deny or do I want to let her in? And you know what? We're teachers. It's a new day. I'm gonna give her another chance. That was yesterday. So we're
Thank
gonna
you,
come
Ms.
in.
Humberford.
We're gonna come in. We're gonna get another chance. It's a new day. So I'm gonna go ahead and let her in.
I know, right? That's what school is for. Like, we make mistakes, but then when they let us back in and we try again, it's so we
Yes,
don't have to learn at work, because work is not as forgiving sometimes as school is. All right, what about this?
So I do like this. I mean, look at this now. That students cannot join the meet calls before the teacher. Like that was a big concern at the beginning. Students were just being able to go in that meet without the teacher. Now they can't. Now they won't be able to do that.
Right.
And then think of all, like, you don't have to do this by yourself anymore because you can have a co-moderator. So the work is just not on the teacher. If you have someone in that Google Classroom, like, they can help share that load. And I really like that. I know that's something that, when I worked for my school district, we were all wanting. So Google has listened. The Google gods have listened, and thank you very much.
Yes, seriously. And I mean, so many teachers now have a co-teacher. We have, there's
Mhm.
other adults in the classroom. So why not take advantage of that in a virtual world too, and have a little, have a little help, have a little teamwork. I love it that this is going to be possible.
Mhm.
All right.
Oh, this is my
one's
favorite.
free. And Melissa, you gotta tell what happened to you recently and how this played into it.
Oh my goodness, there's a little sweat going on. But think of this, like, you can end the meeting. Think of it when you were waiting before. You're like, okay, why isn't so and so leaving the meeting? Let me just wait on here. Okay, what am I gonna do? Let me just turn my camera off and wait. But now, like, as the teacher, you can end it all. But I'm gonna let Brooke tell the story because I had a little bit of an issue.
Because she's just going to panic on us all again. So we actually learned something that we found was really valuable, and that's why we wanted to share it. But we were on a Google Meet with the school district, and they Melissa was the host of the meeting, and we had someone else who was actually doing the training in our company, and she was like, there was like 52 people that were already in on the meet, and she had admitted them. And unfortunately, we didn't have them on the calendar invite due to some last minute things. And so they weren't, so we were having to admit everyone. And she was like, they're saying in the chat that people are waiting, they're waiting, they're waiting, and I can't find the waiting room. And I just saw this comment where it was like, how do we see the waiting room? Well, we were so afraid to exit out of the meet because we were like, it's going to kick everybody off. But I just was like, hey guys, if we go away, we promise we'll be right back. But since we just clicked on that where it says in meeting for everyone, this little window pops up and it says just leave the call or end the call. And so we did just leave on Melissa as the host. We just left it. And when we rejoined, our other partner, Chantel, her and the rest of the participants just carried on without us. But when we jumped back in, it pulled up the waiting list for us again, and we were able to allow everyone in. So we were able to go back and find that. I think we just kind of overloaded our system, but we need to share this experience so everyone knows if you're the host, just leave, pop out and come back in, and you'll be able to add those people that may be in the waiting room.
Yes.
Yeah, not in for everyone.
Right. Then you'll have to let everybody back in again. Yeah.
Right.
All right. I have a follow-up for Hannah.
Perfect.
So here is the statement. Thank you so much, Devin, for finding this on the fly. The ability for admins to enable or disable the use of custom or preset backgrounds in Google Meet for meetings organized by the organizational unit level. A setting will determine whether meeting participants can change their background when joining a meeting. The meeting organizer's background settings apply to all meeting participants. For example, when the setting is off for the meeting, organizer participants will not be able to use it. So it looks like you may not be seeing all of the controls right now, but there may be further controls rolling out in the future. So talk to your admin about this. It's also great to always do a Google search on that. Just search for admin control panel, Google Workspace for education, and then whatever you're looking for. And most of the time you'll find that information. The online documentation for admins is super, super good. All right. Do we want to go back and we have 3 whole minutes left. It's just tons of minutes answering any questions from the group. And Devin, can you pitch us some that people want to know so that we can answer all the right folks?
And Amy, I have one I kind of want to throw out. We've had several people ask about breakout rooms and when the release of that, or if we're going to be talking about breakout rooms. And I just want you guys to know that is coming up next week. I believe we're going to be talking about collaborating inside of Meet and using breakout rooms. So join us back in next Tuesday for sure.
Awesome. All right. Devin has pitched a question to us. Can you transfer host controls in a Meet?
From what I know, inside the Meet, there's not a way to transfer those host controls. However, we do know that on a calendar invite, that even if I create the calendar invite, I can go into my my options, the 3 dots for options, and change the host of the meeting there. I can change the owner is actually what I'm going to do. So I can transfer the ownership of a calendar meeting that already has people invited to Amy, and then she will automatically be the host of that meet when we get on that link, and not myself.
Exactly. And that's what we've been doing. So we transfer the ownership of the calendar event to the new person. For example, let's say we have a meeting coming up. I originally scheduled it. Now I can't go. Brooke is going to be in the meeting for me. I open up the calendar event. I'm doing this right now. I can't show y'all my calendar. It's too embarrassing. Normally I'm like an open book, but it's real bad. So this is how I do it. I open up the full calendar event editor. At the top, I see the name of the calendar event. I see save, and I see more actions to the right of the save button at the very top of the calendar event. I go to more actions. Actually, you know what? I can show y'all this now. Let me show you real quick, and y'all look and see if we have any more questions.
Okay.
All right. Are y'all seeing my screen now?
You're good.
Okay, great. So this is what I do. So here's my meeting. I go right over here to more actions. All the way at the bottom, I see change owner. I can change the owner of this to someone else, and then that new person will be able to have all of the host controls, which is very important, right, Brooke?
Yeah. Right. And that new person is actually going to receive an email that says, do you accept being the owner of this new event? And in the email, I click yes, and then that puts it officially on my calendar. I have found that that email is very important to receive as well.
Yeah, you need to click that button in the email too and accept it, or else you may get in there and it might not have like listened to you yet.
It's like your calendar. If someone shares their calendar with you and you want it to be in your list, like you got to click. So sometimes I know those emails, I'm like, is this important? And then I'm like, oh wait, this one's important.
Yeah.
So, click that for sure.
All right, we have 1 minute left, and this is the question that we've got. What is the difference between creating a Google Meet in a calendar versus in a Google Classroom? So any differences you can talk about there that are notable?
So inside of the classroom, it's only going to affect the students who are on the roster that are joined inside of your Google Classroom. A Google Meet that is based inside of Google Calendar is going to be an event that you can send invites to, or you can share the link and then admit. My Google Home's talking, y'all might can hear it now. So that would be to me what the biggest difference is.
All right, I'm reminding everyone that these sessions are all recorded. They will be on the website, which you see in the top right-hand corner of every slide. I'm also reminding you that while it may be hard to do Spanish subtitles on the fly, although I did have somebody email me and tell me how to do that after the last meet, so that was pretty cool. Those Spanish subtitles will be added as soon as possible after the recording is rendered from Meet. And that's almost all we've got today, folks. Just a reminder, sign up for the next time. We will be back with you again next week. And we are Fried Technology. We hope to see you guys online. All those links on this slide are clickable if you want to keep in touch with us, and we love to hear from you after these events. So thanks, everybody, and have a great day. Enjoy your meetings.
Bye.